Hey everybody, welcome to Why You Should Care. There's a lot going on the impeachment story. You should keep checking thehill.com for more developments on that. But there's also so much more happening in Syria today. We want to explain to you as much as we can where this story came from and what you need to know. I'm Jamal Simmons. Here's Why You Should Care, the Explainer Edition. So what exactly is going on in Syria between the Turks and the Kurds? If you're confused with all the moving parts, we're going to try to clear it up just a little bit. Let's start with this. Who are the Kurds? According to the Kurdish Project, they're the fourth largest ethnic group in the Middle East, with up to 30 million people, stretching out from the mountainous border regions of Iraq through Iran, Armenia, Turkey, and all the way into Syria. The Kurds don't have a nation of their own, but they want one, and the government of Turkey is absolutely against it. Because of that, the Kurds in the northern Syria border region have long-standing beef with the government of Turkey, and there's a group of separatists that operate outside the border called the Kurdish Workers' Party, or PKK, which even the United States recognizes as a terrorist organization. That's why Turkish President Erdogan wanted to invade that region of Syria. He's been talking about it for a long time because he wants to push the Kurds back. But here's the problem. The United States rocks with the Kurds. When it was time for the U.S. to go to war with ISIS, we allied with Kurdish fighters in Syria to defeat the Islamic State. The Kurds lost 11,000 people in the cause. So now that most of the fighting is over with ISIS, Turkey wants to get back to business with these Kurds. But we're friends with both of them. Until now, the U.S. has been like a big kid in a schoolyard, trying to keep two other kids from coming to blows by putting his body between them. Neither group wants to fight with us. So U.S. troops sat on the border as a tripwire to keep them apart and ensure ISIS doesn't build back up. On Sunday, President Trump decided to leave the playground and let the Turks have at the Kurds. The question is why? In 2015, Trump told then Breitbart editor Steve Bannon that he had a conflict of interest in Turkey because of his Trump Towers in Istanbul. Because the president hasn't separated himself from his business interests, many observers wonder what role those business relationships are playing in this decision. It's been a day since Turkey's military invaded Syria, and reports are that more than 100 Kurdish forces have been killed. Almost immediately following the United States decision to pull up troops from the border, Turkey launched an operation in northeastern Syria targeting U.S.-backed Kurdish forces. A senior advisor to Turkish President Erdogan says her country isn't attacking Syrian Kurds, but rather the PKK, which the Turkish government says has been launching attacks against them. Back in the United States, calls against President Trump's move to get out of Syria have intensified. Members of his own Republican Party have split from him on the issue. As we reported yesterday, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell publicly disagreed with the president, as did Congresswoman Liz Cheney. Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger trolled the president on Twitter this morning after Trump celebrated the U.S. capture of 2 ISIS fighters from the region. Here's what Kinzinger tweeted. The other 10,000, no biggie. At least you got big too. Campaign promise fail. Opponents on both sides of the aisle are worried that the U.S. departure will leave the Kurds in a death grip. And as we went over a little bit earlier, they've been a key partner in fighting ISIS. Turkey is sticking to its script, though. They're calling the invasion Operation Peace Spring. According to Fox News and Associated Press reports, some troops have said they're surprised by the president's actions to exit the region. And a source told the outlets Trump, quote, doesn't understand the repercussions of this. Erdogan is an Islamist, not a level-headed actor. Okay, we've gone over the background of what's going on in Syria. We've talked a little bit about what's happening right now. But why should you care about all this? The conflict in Syria is sending signals to current and potential U.S. allies all over the world. The Kurds rode with the Americans on this ISIS fight, and now the Americans are leaving the Kurds to the whim of their enemy in Turkey. In Israel, where the security of that democracy is very dependent on U.S. support, there's an open conversation about whether or not they can trust the Americans to stick. The U.S. also has backed the security of the Kurds in Iraq, who are paying attention to this Syria maneuver too. Even U.S. troops are raising questions. Former members of the military are wondering about the security situation. The Kurds are guarding thousands of ISIS prisoners, and there are questions about how much security they can maintain while they are being attacked by the Turks. There are reports that the U.S. is moving to secure some of the most high-value detainees, but many more could go free and find their way back into Europe or rejoin the ISIS fight against U.S. interests. Military strategists say that usually a president allows more time for planning process to figure out how to implement his orders in the way that best maintains U.S. national security interests. They weren't given time for that. And back here at home, even the president's allies are mobilizing to oppose him. There have been questions from evangelical leaders who are worried about ethnic Christians who could be caught in the crossfire, and Republican senators are working with Democrats on bipartisan resolutions to constrain the president's actions. You know why you should care? People are dying, our allies question our commitment, and even the president's political party is concerned. Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos, and head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.